The rest of the story, Peter's talent was undeniable. His voice had a velvety charm, and his knack for melody could make the most stoic listener tap their foot. It didn't take long for a record label to notice. Within months, they signed him to a deal that promised the world. "You've got something special, kid," one executive told him during their first meeting. "We're gonna make you a star." The first few months were a whirlwind. Studio sessions, songwriting meetings, and networking events filled Peter's days and nights. He met seasoned producers, co-wrote with other aspiring artists, and even had a demo ready to pitch. But as time passed, the initial excitement gave way to doubt. "You're talented, Peter," his manager said one day, "but we're struggling to figure out your direction. Are you pop, R&B, something else?" The words stung, though Peter kept a brave face. The label's uncertainty grew, and before Peter could solidify his footing, the phone call came. "We're letting you go," the executive said. His tone clipped. "It's not personal. It's just business." For the first time in his life, Peter questioned his path. He had moved thousands of miles away from his family, endured sleepless nights, crafting his sound, and now it seemed like none of it mattered. He called his mother in tears. "Come home," she said gently. "There's no shame in starting over." But Peter wasn't ready to give up. That night, he sat in his small apartment, strumming his guitar, searching for solace. He scribbled lyrics on scraps of paper, humming melodies that felt more like prayers than songs. "Maybe," he thought, "I don't need to fit into a mold. Maybe I just need to be me." The next morning, Peter called a friend he'd met in LA, a producer named Alex. "I've got some new ideas," he said, "but they're different. I want to try something that feels like me." Over the next few months, Peter and Alex worked tirelessly. The songs were raw, blending elements of pop, funk, R&B, and reggae. Peter infused his Hawaiian roots into the music, crafting a sound that was as unique as it was infectious. One night, after finishing a particularly energetic track, Alex grinned. "This is it," he said. "This is you." Still, the road wasn't easy. Labels were skeptical. "It's too eclectic," one executive said. "We don't know how to market it." Rejections piled up, but Peter's resolve only grew stronger. He played small gigs, built a loyal fan base, and released his music independently. Slowly but surely, the industry began to take notice. Years later, Peter stood on the stage of a packed arena, the roar of the crowd echoing in his ears. He was no longer the uncertain young man who had been dropped by his first label. He was confident, vibrant, and undeniably himself. He took a moment to soak in the adulation before stepping to the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said with a smile, "thank you for believing in me." Because you see, Peter wasn't his real name. It was a stand-in, a placeholder, for a young man who almost gave up on his dreams. Today, the world knows him as Bruno Mars, and now you know the rest of the story.